Happy 1,000 subscribers! Welcome to the Macke Makerspace. Hi, I'm Brother Bob Macke. I am the curator of meteorites at the Vatican Observatory. And recently, this wonderful little channel just reached a great milestone. We have 1,000 subscribers. Isn't that amazing? Woohoo! And so thank you all for subscribing and all that. I was going to make some sort of really fancy build of some sort to commemorate this milestone, but I'm not actually in Rome at my usual makerspace, so my resources here are kind of limited. I did, however, come across this neat little Lego project, so I think it'll make a wonderful, quick build for this little celebration. So let's get started. This is the Lego kit that we got as swag from a company that makes telescope cameras, hashtag not sponsored, that we've been talking to about a camera for our big telescope on Mount Graham, the Alice Lennon Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope, or VAT for short. This model is the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST. The telescope is a multi-segmented scope that lies out in space at Earth's L2 Lagrange point, which is an area of orbital stability in the gravitational interactions between the Earth and the Sun at about 1 million miles away from us. And it's already produced a lot of great science and some amazing pictures. This kit is a sort of minimalist style, so there's kind of a bit of an art form in Lego to try to capture the essence of a thing with as few pieces as possible. So this kit has only 56 parts, of which 14 are just the gold-colored pips that represent the beryllium segments of JWST's primary mirror. So while I know the pieces, let's talk about this little channel that has reached 1,000 subs. I started Macke Makerspace about 2 years ago because I like to make things, and I wanted to share my love of making and a few of the techniques that I was learning with other people. This channel's not monetized and is basically a one-person operation with no promotional structure behind it, so it hasn't really had much opportunity to grow very quickly. So I'm very happy to have 1,000 subscribers, and I would like to continue to grow this channel. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. It helps YouTube recommend the channel to others so it can find a broader audience and we can have other people see this channel that haven't seen it before. For the most part, my projects are fairly simple and low budget because the materials and tools come out of my modest personal budget. However, I do benefit from the resources of the Vatican Observatory. It doesn't sponsor any of my projects, but I have the Macke Makerspace set up in my office, and the 3D printers that I use were purchased by the observatory. I also make use of computer resources for editing the videos. One of my goals in making the channel was to provide a platform to introduce the Vatican Observatory to an audience that might not otherwise even be aware of its existence. For those who don't know about the Vatican Observatory, it's an astronomical research institution sponsored by the Vatican and run by vowed religious, primarily Jesuits. We do mainstream science, but the goal of the Vatican Observatory is to be a sign to the world of the compatibility of faith and science and of the Church's support of science. And the mundane work of the observatory is funded by the Vatican, but our educational outreach and our telescope operations in Tucson are largely funded by generous benefactors who donate to the Vatican Observatory Foundation. And we couldn't do what we do without this support, so that's why I always give a little plug at the end of each video. If you would like to support the work at the Vatican Observatory, or even just to learn a little bit more about it, there is a link in the description. Please check it out. Over the past couple of years, I have had the privilege of presenting a number of great projects on this channel. I started humbly with a little showpiece for a paperweight of my MIT class ring, which I mashed up with an Iron Man theme. That was followed by a 5-part series on a model of the Church of St. Ignatius in Rome, complete with Angelo Secchi's observatory on the roof. I like popular culture, and I also like to build science-related and religiously inspired stuff. And the projects I've showcased on this channel have all pulled from these themes. So basically, if I likes it, I builds it. Occasionally, my actual day job as curator of the Vatican Meteorite Collection or as a scientific researcher finds its way into my videos, like, for instance, a recent series about a pycnometer that I built for the OSIRIS-REx mission and that was installed in a clean room at NASA's Johnson Space Center. For now, I have a number of project ideas boiling up. I'm in the middle of making a clock from basic principles without any research, and you won't want to miss that project. I've also been asked to make a larger version of my church model for public display. It's going to be huge! It's about 3 feet long, and now that I have a resin printer, I can put a lot more detail into it that I couldn't have done before. And I'm always looking for great ideas, things that I can build that are within my limited means. So if you have any ideas that you would like to see, please post them in the comments. I make no guarantees, but I might just take your idea and turn it into something special. We're getting close to the end of the build here. Those wing shapes are forming the huge heat shield that protects the telescope from the sun's rays and keeps the instrumentation cool so that everything will operate at peak performance. And they're about the size of a tennis court. And the primary mirror itself is about 21 feet across. I think that turned out pretty much all right. It certainly does capture the essence of JWST, and I look forward to great science coming from this telescope. And for our channel, there's more videos on the way, so please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you get notified when the next video comes out. But that's all I have for you today, so until next time, peace.